Eli, I watched the last 3 minutes of that game, and you seemed to be really fired up there at the end. Were you just caught in the moment of the comeback, or were you just mad because they yanked your helmet off?
A little bit of both. You know, it's an emotional game. You know, from start to finish, and especially at the end. You know, it's an emotional finish. You know, coming down 10 points with 3-4 minutes left in the game. You know, emotions are going to be high. You know, and that last play, you know, I was pretty frustrated. I mean, they blatantly just ripped my helmet off on the play before. You know, just not being in there for the last play. You know, it was kind of frustrating, but you know, Nate did a great job in there, going in there. You know, operating the way he needed it to, and you know, getting us that touchdown to win the game.
Gavin said, you know, this week the offenses felt like you guys can play very well on Saturday. What has this week been like, and how are you guys approaching this week?
We're approaching this week as a game to, you know, put 4 quarters together. You know, we still feel like we haven't done that. You know, we feel like every game we've left at least 3 touchdowns out there. You know, I feel like this is the game where we're going to go out there, we're going to execute on all levels. You know, be able to run the ball, throw the ball. You know, keep the ball out of the defense's hands. You know, make sure we're not turning the ball over. Everybody's doing the right thing. You know, because we're going to need games like that. You know, later down the season to make sure we win those.
What was the conversation with you and Coach Bell like throughout the second half on Saturday? What was he telling you?
You know, just keep trusting everybody, my teammates. You know, trust him as well. You know, and trust myself. You know, my feet, my arm. You know, I gotta go out there and trust those guys. They're going to be in the right spot. You know, trust him. He's going to make the right call, and trust myself that I'm going to be able to make that play too.
Eli, it seems like Cade's a pretty intense guy. What?
A little bit.
Why does that relationship work well with you and him?
You know, we both have that same hunger to, you know, want to be great. You know, he's got that hunger like I've never seen before. You know, he's really, really confident in what he does. You know, he just wants to go out there and, you know, prove everybody wrong that, you know, he's, you know, should be up there with the best, you know, coordinators in the country, and I believe he should be.
Do you have a similar thought, like, I want to be up there with the best quarterbacks in the country?
Yes, I mean, growing up, everybody wants to be the best quarterback. You know, everybody wants to prove, you know, people wrong. But like the mindset I have is I want to prove everybody right. All the people, you know, have believed in me since I was little. You know, the people that have invested time in me. You know, you know, when I got the starting job, you know, when I'm getting all these awards, you know, it's not a relief of like I did something. It's a relief of, you know, I proved the guys, you know, and the people that believed in me, I proved them right.
Eli, what's going through your mind on that final drive? You guys are set up at the West Virginia 30. You take off for that big scramble, spin out of the tackle. Just what's going through your mind on that play to get down deep into their territory?
My thought was, how the heck was that not a face mask? I mean, he grabbed my face mask, twirled me around, and actually helped me, you know, get a little momentum going forward. You know, my mindset that drive was to, you know, get the ball in my guys' hands as quick as I can. You know, I felt like we, you know, were really consistent. I mean, I don't know if we had an incomplete pass or a negative play that entire drive. You know, so just, you know, play fast, you know, trust my guys that they're going to be in the right spot, and that's what we did, and we ended up going down there pretty easily and winning the game.
Eli, you mentioned 4 quarters wanting to put that together, but when it's mattered, when you guys have been up against it, had success, why do you think that is?
Because, you know, because fourth quarter, you know, is a big emphasis here. You know, we get together, you know, even during practice, you know, we kind of schedule a time at the end of practice of it's the fourth quarter, it's the end of practice, you know. It's when everybody's tired, you know, doesn't really want to be there, you know, but we got to finish, you know. And I feel like end of practices for us is normally when we play our best, you know, and that shows in the game when we're going out there in the fourth quarter, you know, trusting each other, realize, hey, it's not us that's just tired, you know, it's the other team's tired too, and that's when we can take advantage of it.
After playing in the backyard brawl, do you think you truly understand the rivalry as it is today?
Oh yes, for sure. It was a lot of fun. It was an intense crowd, intense fans. You know, it was an intense fight. You know, between two really good teams, and it was a lot of fun. You know, like I said, growing up, I never really heard about the backyard brawl. You know, being from the South. You know, growing up an LSU fan, you hated Ole Miss, you hated Alabama, you hated all these other teams, but you know, it wasn't a true hatred. I mean, growing up at the tailgates, you know, we'd invite, you know, visiting fans, you know, over to eat with us, drink with us, and everything like that. But I heard y'all don't really do that around here. y'all kind of hate each other. So I mean, it's definitely different. It was a lot of fun. You know, I'm looking forward to playing in that rivalry for the next couple of years.
Eli, going off that point of finishing strong in the fourth quarter, what can you see the results coming from behind you as you guys move on? You know, as the season progresses on.
No, it just lets us know that we can make that comeback when we need to. You know, we can, you know, have that drive when we need it. And, you know, in big games, you know, we've done it, you know, twice in a row against 2 good opponents and 2 really hostile and intense environments. You know, one on the road and one in a big rivalry. You know, we're gonna win games, and continue to win games, we need to be able to, come through and at the end of the game, 2-minute drills, stuff like that. I mean, we're like 3 for 3 on 2-minute drills, I think, right now. I mean, that's huge, for an offense, for a whole team. It's going to help us win a lot of games.
There's a certain urgency and desperation in those moments, right? When you're trying to come back. Do you guys need to have that earlier in the game? Can you play 60 minutes with that much kind of urgency and desperation?
That's the goal this weekend, is to put that, 4-quarter game together, play fast, play with a lot of intensity, play like our hair is on fire, make sure, we're in the right spot, doing the right thing, making the big plays when we need to.
Eli, you hadn't played a game of college football before this season, but now you got 3 games on your belt. Do you feel like, did you notice, at least against West Virginia, maybe they're game planning for you specifically, that they maybe saw some stuff on film that they didn't know before?
Yeah, I mean, the coverage that they played, were some coverages that I kind of struggled with against Cincinnati, and we practiced against those pretty much all week when we kind of knew what they were going to come out and try to do. So, I was able to, be in the film room with Coach Bell, Coach Klein, all those guys, helping us out with, or helping me out with, where I need to be with my eyes, where I need to go with the ball, my footwork and everything, and it really helped me out.
Where's that hunger you have and intensity you have come from? Is it from a family member, from a coach back in high school or anything? Or just something you're born with?
I mean, being a Holstein, you're born with it. My family, my papa is the guy that, grew up without shoes to play sports. Had to go to the local church to get food and clothes. Could have gone to play sports in college, but couldn't because he had to go back and take care of his mom and little sister, stuff like that. My grandpa, the Montgomerys, that's my middle name, so I really appreciate my name. My real name is Elijah Montgomery Holstein. I got my papa's last name and I got my grandfather's last name. So just having both of their last names in my name is pretty special to me. So I feel like I get to represent them whenever I'm out there. But my grandpa grew up in Missouri. Had to work his tail off. Growing up and everything. Worked his tail off in the salt mines all up in the Midwest. Just providing a better life for his family than he had growing up. So did my papa. Just seeing where they came from and where we are now, the Holstein name. It's pretty cool. I got a text from my dad earlier, talking about how awesome it is to see his dad's, name on, the ACC network, ESPN, and stuff like that. Just it kind of brings a tear to his eye, my eye too, just to see where we are now and where we used to be.
Are they still around?
My grandfather and papa now. I lost my papa beginning of COVID to a heart attack, and then a year later I lost my grandfather to COVID.
Any family members come up for the game on Saturday?
Oh yeah, a lot of my family members. Dad, mom, little sister, older brother, and 2 of my childhood friends, Griffin and Dylan Davis, from Orlando, Florida. Their dad was my first football coach ever, Coach Steve. It's my guy. He's a guy that's been there every step of the way. Like I said earlier, proving people right instead of proving people wrong. He's one of those guys that I felt like I proved right. He's believed in me since I was 6 years old. Playing right tackle. Right tackle, 3rd string quarterback is what I was my first year at tackle football. So he's like I said, he's believed in me ever since that. And, it's an awesome feeling proving him right.
What was it like being able to celebrate that win with them?
Oh, it was awesome. Just being able to go over and hug my dad. Every game I give him my game towel. He likes to collect those. Just being able to go see my brother, my mom, my little sister, my family. Oh, my uncle was there. He's the guy that had all these season tickets to LSU. So, he always brought me to LSU games. Being able to bring him to a Pitt game was awesome. Kind of a complete turnaround for me. Just being able to celebrate that win with those guys. Being able to call my grandma, call my aunts and uncles, back home and just celebrate that was awesome.
Did LSU contact you when you were in the portal?
No, not really.
You were a starter as a sophomore in high school, right? And now you're a starter as a freshman in college. How difficult is it to gain a team's trust and respect when you're that young?
It can be difficult, but I feel like the easiest way is just, you don't have to be a vocal guy. You just got to be able to go out there and just prove that you're going to work hard no matter the situation. When I first got here, I didn't really talk. You can talk to some guys. I was a quiet guy when I first got here. I felt like I had to earn people's respect before I spoke up and said anything. So I just got in here every day. Worked my tail off. In the weight room, in the film room, learning the offense, just doing the little things right. I felt like once I earned the respect of how I do things, then I'm able to earn the respect and be able to lead them vocally.
It's been perfect through 3 weeks, but still 3-0. What's that feeling like of being undefeated this team?
It's great. It's been a lot of fun. I know we have a chance to make history this weekend. I feel like it's a a big point of how we need to approach this game. You know, we can't approach this game as a tune-up game. You know, this is a big deal for us. You know, we want to put that 4-quarter game together. You know, but we want to go 4-0. I mean, we'll be the first Pitt team I think ever to go undefeated in non-conference play. I mean, so we got a chance to make history, and I think these guys need to realize that. We need to go out there with the same intensity we had against West Virginia.
Now that you've been able to really digest the West Virginia tape, what wasn't working in that stretch in the second half at first, and how can you use that information moving forward here?
You know, it was all around. It wasn't, you know, just anybody specifically. You know, we all, you know, made mistakes, but we all made some really good plays at some point. You know, just doing the little things right. Me specifically, you know, I gotta work on my feet. You know, work on get my eyes in the right spot. You know, making sure I'm reading the right coverage and reading the right guys. You know, just trusting guys. You know, trusting my guys are gonna be in the right spot. Trusting the O-line is gonna protect me. You know, because they've done a great job with that. You know, I gotta trust guys, and then we're gonna be able to play some football.
You've been able to spread the ball around a lot too, a lot of different options, especially those last 2 drives with Gavin, Canante, Dejan with the touchdown. I mean, how big has that been to have those type of options, and you know, more likely that they're not going to get doubled at all?
It's awesome. You know, when you got 5-6 receivers you can throw to, you got 2 tight ends you can throw to, you got 2-3 running backs you can throw to out of the backfield. It's huge. It's, you know, like you said, nobody really gets double teamed. You know, everybody's got a chance to win their one-on-one, and we got the guys that can win one-on-one. You know, my job is to, you know, whoever's open, whoever that playmaker is, that play to get them the ball as fast as I can so they can go make some plays with it.
You've talked about that you think your relationship with the wide receivers has come about because you hang out outside of here. What do you guys do when you're away from the facility?
I mean, like tonight, you know, going to the volleyball game, you know, pretty much the entire team's going. You gotta cheer on the volleyball team. You know, it's a big game tonight, you know, against Penn State. I mean, I know we're doing great, but you know, our volleyball team is dominating right now. I don't think they've lost a set. You know, I mean, they're the best team on campus. You know, we're trying to get to that point. You know, but you know, just doing stuff like that. You know, when I first got here, we went to a couple basketball games. You know, we'd go bowling, Top Golf, stuff like that. But you know, now during the season, our hanging out is at the facility when we technically don't have to be here. Like when we come up, you know, we watch film. You know, Mondays we watch film with the receivers every day or every Monday for about an hour and a half. You know, watch games, see what they're going to do against us. Later in the week, I'll come up with some receivers. You know, we'll get some timing stuff down. You know, to make sure everything's polished. We're doing the little things right. You know, so we're able to go on Saturday.
Do you have a final question for Eli?
These 2 comebacks, the biggest games of your career thus far?
I mean, the fact that I've only played 3 games in my career, I would assume so. I mean, yeah, it's a big comeback on the road, and then a big comeback in a rivalry game, which was a lot of fun. You know, I treat every game like the biggest game I played. You know, the next game's the biggest game of my career. You know, because that's the only one that matters at the moment. You know, my goal is to go 1-0 in every game. You know, protect the ball, move the ball, score a lot of points, because you know, that's what our offense does, and that's what we need to do to win a lot more games in the future.